What's up, Victor from the Tabletop Nights with a massive unboxing of the game Hate, which I just received yesterday from Kickstarter. It's by Common Games and it's based off a graphic novel from Adrian Smith. Very excited to get into it, but because we're so hateful right now, these lights need to be changed to red. We're mad, we're hateful, let's unbox. So throughout the video, I'll be showing you close-ups of all the awesome pieces that come in this massive box, of which there are many. Heaps. And the really cool thing about this Kickstarter that I really appreciate is, one, it was very expensive, but two, there was only one tier, I'm pretty sure. So everybody will be receiving the exact same board game. So yours at home won't be any different to mine unless I'm missing pieces or vice versa. So that's one of the things that you don't see on Kickstarter very often, which I really appreciate. There's literally a spider on me. Oh my god. There was a spider this big on me. No joke. Alright, hopefully it didn't bite me and I'm going to feel it later. Alright, and because we're in Australia, you know, those spiders, they're quite poisonous. So it's a game for 2 to 6 players, strictly 18 years old and over, they say on the box. This game is not intended for kids, 17 and younger, which I think is very intense to begin with. Rough playing time of around 60 minutes, but when you're learning it, it'll probably be like 2-3 hours, to be honest. It seems to me like a turn-based game, so I'm very excited. Make sure you guys subscribe, give us a like as well, because we're going to be playing a lot of Hate on this channel if we can learn how to play it. We've got a recording session next week that will be focusing all of our time on Hate, so if you want to see some Hate gameplay, make sure you subscribe, because we will be releasing plenty of videos in Hate. So in this box, there's hundreds of cards, so forgive me if I don't know what each card is right off the bat, but they're a good detailed. They feel like they will need to be slipped though, like especially if you play this game a lot. But they don't have a matte finish on there or anything, which I actually prefer. I don't like matte cards. Not that I don't like them, it's just they don't scan very well on my scanner for when we do videos and gameplay. So the cards are very fresh looking, but they do feel a little bit like they will sort of fray at the edges over some time. So if you're that type of person that likes to sleeve, I would definitely recommend it. There might be sleeves in this box, I think. I'm not sure. I've got some sleeves here, but I don't think this is for every card. I think this is just for certain cards when you're upgrading them, because you can upgrade your creatures and everything. So we've got a good amount of cards here, and a lot of them don't have any graphics on it whatsoever, but the ones that do, they're awesome graphics, and that's one of the things that really got me into this to back this in the first place, was because of that artwork from that comic book. And I'm a massive comic book reader. I've never read the Hate series, but definitely something that I might look into now, because the art in this box is awesome. Alright, so now we're getting to the cards with the heaps of detail. So these are obviously the character cards, and once again I'll be taking close-ups of all of these so you can see it. So these character cards, so we've got Prince, Champion, Shaman, Warrior 2, Warrior 4, and like every one of them is a different picture of a different monster. Maybe the same monster but in different poses for the warriors and stuff. But of this, there are hundreds of them. I don't know the exact count, but there's probably at least 150 cards here. A few of them are stuck together at the back here though. You know, I am very excited to be unboxing this, but I'm not that excited. So a few are stuck at the back here, but they've come apart quite easy with no damage whatsoever. So yeah, it's an unboxing. I've got to tell you all the stuff that I'm experiencing as I unbox it. But yeah, these cards have some great detail. Obviously, you know, it's got dice on the card, so I'm assuming that you use these cards in conjunction with the dice to see if you get your attack to be successful, that sort of thing. So these are the upgrade cards. that you use to upgrade your monsters and I guess. So basically, just as a quick example, you would have a sleeve, you put this card in the sleeve, and then when you upgrade him, you simply slide this into the sleeve with him, and now he's got a +1 of whatever that symbol means. So I do like this system where you have an extra plastic slip to upgrade cards. It's very popular in a game called Custom Heroes, a game that I've actually been learning how to play recently. So I do like that system. It keeps things sort of like fresh and, you know, very custom to your own game. So like not everybody's going to level up this one creature with this certain ability. So it does make pretty much every gameplay very unique. So yeah, we've got 2 piles of those upgrade slips by the looks of it. So 2 piles of these. And again, these sort of things are much easier to keep in a good condition over a card. They're easy to pick up, like, you know, they're easy to bend, and you're not going to worry too much about fraying the edges because it is a plastic, and plastic's easier to take care of. Then these are the plastic slips that I was mentioning before. So I'm pretty sure, anyway, I haven't seen them. But what you do is you get a card, you slot them in. Now I don't think there's enough for one of each unless there's more deeper in the box. So you plastic slip him, and then you get an upgrade card, and you put it over, and now it's upgraded him. So I'll show you on the camera here. So I'm going to remove it, and then there you go. So that's cool. I don't think you need all of these at once, which is the reason why I don't think there's enough for every card in the box. Pretty sure what happens is you've got clans, and in each clan there's like 11 figures. So I think you only might need 11 cards at once to upgrade. So that's cool. I do like this feature of the game, having to upgrade your cards and stuff. Just adds an extra element. We've got our stands. So I guess depending on what team you are, depends on the stand that you use, or something. You got tokens here. These tokens have a lot of detail in them as well. They're not just normal tokens. They've actually got textures on them. Like it looks like a board game. They're for a board game named Hate, because they're scratched and they're like detailed. It looks like they're a part of the ground. Real cool details on them. Same with these little tokens here. Even like everything looks like it has wear on it. Not in a bad way, but in a way that would suit the name of the game, which is Hate. So we've got some tokens with some eyeballs on them. Actually sounds like money. They are plastic. Again, that same sort of gritty detail on them, which I actually really love. Then we've got these little tiny figures here. Not sure what they are. It'll be tough taking close-ups of this. This looks like a little tiny flame token or something. And then we've got like a head. We have a human face on a figure. So that is very hateful. Hate-filled. So I look forward to knowing what these little tokens do, that's for sure. And then we just basically have another bag of just heads. So there's a whole bag of those heads I just showed you in the red there, but now they're grey. So plenty of heads. So then we've got some large bases here as well. So obviously the figures that I'll be getting into later, obviously they just clip in there. But they're plastic, which is really good. There's some that are like a silicon material, and they can bend in the heat, especially like I'm in Australia right now and it's super hot, and like a silicon material sort of bends in the heat, and yeah, it can melt a little bit. So a solid plastic for the bases is really good. So here is the Hate Rulebook, which is quite thick. I think it's, here we go, over 30 pages, 35 pages. I've conquered rulebooks that are bigger, but not for a while, so I'm a little intimidated, but also very excited as well, because obviously this game has a lot of depth. Like I was saying before, I don't think it'll be too difficult to learn the core game, but I think there's a lot of depth in the game that'll make it very exciting each time you play it. So this is the like conquest board. So I think you go through area to area doing battles, and then you literally mark it off the piece of paper. So there's copies of these so that you can literally get a pen, mark it up, put your hate-filled writing on there, and then on the back of each is like a list, like I guess to keep track of your score and stuff like that. So looks like there's a lot of gameplay. So one of the most frustrating things about these games that I love so dearly is having to put it all back in the box. I mean, I've got Gloomhaven sitting over there. We've done one scenario. I mean, I've played through like 30 scenarios, but where do I put all these boxes? Like, it's so hard to pack them up and keep track of where you're up to in games. But there's the campaign board, I guess. And then we have scenario boards. So you'll see later there's a big board that you place out on the table, and so I'm guessing every one of these is slightly different scenarios for different sections of the map. So there's heaps of those. I'm not sure how many there are. So these are called plateau tiles, I'm pretty sure, of which there is 12 of, but times 2 because they're double-sided. So there's 24 different like scenarios, I guess, that you can pick from, which is awesome. That'll keep you playing for a long time. Then you've got your permanent tribe modifiers and end of battle points or something. And again, you mark these off. You know, you tick, you use your writing, do whatever, and there's hundreds of copies of this as well. So, and obviously, once again, because this game is full of detail, it is double-sided, which is bloody awesome. They haven't wasted any space in this game whatsoever, which is probably why it was like 120 American, which is quite a lot for a board game, but well worth it so far, well worth it. And this box is so big, I'm having trouble reaching it all. Then we have a bag of hands. Hands with bandages on them. They're cut up. They're damaged. They're hands that have a lot of hate in them. Really cool, but very grim. Not sure what that means, a bag of hands. And then we have our dice, which are very cool. So again, I'm showing close-ups of all of these. So they're very cool dice. So I'll try to keep these separate, but I think they're all the same. You've got attack, defense, star, not sure what the star means, and then you got one of those skulls from before, the head skulls, one of these. So that's obviously what that means. I get a head on a pike if I roll that dice. So that's cool. The dice, a lot of detail, they feel good. They're just your standard 6-sided dice. Very bouncy. They'll go through a dice tower really well, I reckon. So the last thing we have in the top tier of the board game box is like a map board. I'm guessing this is where you create the scenarios from those 24 pieces of paper from before, and you put different blocks depending on what the scenario tells you to do. So it is turn-based, I'm fairly certain, because there are blocks here. So obviously you can move a certain amount of squares at a time. So pretty nice detail. These aren't going to break or anything. They might fray a little bit on the edges and stuff like that, but they're not going to peel or anything. And there's a lot of detail in the terrain as well, which I think is very important because when I was watching the video, you can get bonuses and disadvantages depending on the terrain you're standing on. So very important to have a lot of detail in these boards. Right, on to the second tier of the board game. We've got this weird plastic thing, which I'm sure is either useless, and if it is useless, I'll still keep it forever, or it could be, element of the board game. Not 100% sure on that one. But then we have all the tiles of the board. I'm assuming these are the tiles that you place onto that previous game mat that I was showing you, and which sets up the scenario. So these are obviously the bits and pieces that you use to set up each scenario. Let's see if they pop out. I always like popping out a few on camera just to make sure that they pop out nice and easy. For some reason, I've been popping out really poorly lately. Every time I pop something out, I end up getting a massive tear. But these seem alright. They seem to be popping out really easy. So we'll go around and deboard all these later, which is always one of the best parts, to be honest. And then, so there's different terrain on each of these tiles. And then actually there's another one here as well, which I think is exactly the same, but times 2. You can never have too much terrain. Right, now we're nearing the end. There's only 2 pieces left, and when I say pieces, I mean 2 massive boxes, which I'm still struggling to get out. These are obviously going to be the actual figures themselves, and again, they hate you. So it actually says on the back as well what pieces will be in this box, so if you need to find it, obviously you'll know which they are without having to undo them. But as to be expected, they're all over the place. They're not sitting properly in their little pockets, but that's to be expected when you get a game that's traveling all around the world. And I didn't buy it from my local retailer. I bought it on Kickstarter, so it had to come here from overseas. But these are probably, I'm not going to lie, these are probably the best figures I've ever seen. I've only been into board gaming for about 2 years, and I don't have many. I have a collection of about 20, 25 board games, and only half of those have figures. These are probably the best detail in figures I have ever seen, ever. Literally every inch of them has detail. Like even in his sort of cape area, he has skulls. It's awesome. Like I'm very, very impressed. These are really cool, and they're all numbered at the bottom, so it'll help you find which characters is in your tribe. And they seem to be color coded as well. So I think there's a few tribes each have, don't quote me on this, 11 characters. I'm not sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 9 with a red base. So I'm not sure. Again, there's a lot of rules to this game, and I've got to learn them all before I really start making announcements of how many are in per tribe. But these are awesome. Every one of these is different too. So how many do we have here? We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 figures, and each of them are unique and extremely detailed and so gory as well. Like, that is so cool. Like, I wish I could paint minis. Maybe I should try to learn, but this would be like the peak of mini painting, because you'd have to put so much detail into the painting. Again, take care of these, because some of the details, like the swords and stuff, they might break off. You never know. But again, if you take care of it and you make sure you package it back up and you don't send it internationally after you receive it, you should be fine, to be honest. So very happy with the figures. Again, like look at the dress on this guy. Like, it's all super detailed. You can see literally about 100 skulls on his dress alone. So that is very, very impressive. And then finally, the last box, which I'm assuming will be more figures. And again, the second box hates you just as much as the first. These are the smaller figures. So the first ones are obviously your main characters, and these ones are sort of the minions, I'm pretty sure. So let's dig into this. Yep, these ones are much smaller, but they're all intact still. So that's all. Step number 1 already complete. So they're all different colors as well, all color coded. So you'll have some with green bottom, some with yellow, orange, light green, teal, everything. And then it's times 2. So many characters. We have, I think of each color, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a different amount for every color, really. Most of them have 8, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. But the grey at the back here seems to have 6. Maybe they're replacements, or maybe, I don't know what I'm talking about. We'll find out soon. But again, even these smaller ones have just so much detail that I've never really seen in figures before. I don't really know how I can show it to you on this camera over here. I mean, again, I'll be taking close-ups. But yeah, there's so much like love in this game, and now I'm sort of starting to understand why I spent so much on it. It was, there was a lot of effort that went into their campaign and Kickstarter video just naturally. So obviously there was going to be a lot of love and care that went into creating this in the first place. But I'm super impressed. There's hundreds of figures here. You could never physically paint them all. I wonder how many figures there are exactly. I'd be interested to know. I took a photo of the box before. Okay, there's a lot. So 103 highly detailed figures. So again, what I was trying to explain before is there's 11 from tribe of Umgra figures, 11 tribe of Umrak, 11 of Umgor, so on and so on. 1 tyrant figure as well. So, man, I'm tired. Like, we got attacked by a spider early on. It attacked me. It didn't bite me. I still feel okay, if you're wondering. Very happy, very satisfied with this unboxing. I've got so much close-ups to do for you guys right now, and I just can't wait to just dig into this game, learn how to play it. Make sure you guys leave me a comment if you guys have any feedback whatsoever on what I could do to improve these unboxing videos, or if you have any tips for how to play Hate as well, let us know. I'm going to give this unboxing a solid, 9.5 out of 10. I mean, we had some sticky cards in the beginning, but other than that, it was, an absolute joy to unbox. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more Hate videos. I'm Victor from the Tabletop Knights. Until next time, see ya. I'm coming home.